If you're a music lover, you can mark February 5th on your calendar. That is when the industry's most coveted awards, the Grammys, are handed out. The nominations were announced this afternoon, and the CBC's Eli Glasner joins me with the latest. So, Eli, who is leading the pack?
That would be Beyonce. You could hear the beehive, all her fans cheering this morning. A remarkable accomplishment. She now is tied with her husband, Jay-Z, for the most nominations in Grammy history. 88. How did they just figure that out, that they're both just perfectly placed beside each other? And so she is now leading the pack this year for the 2023 Grammys with 9 nominations, all the major categories: album, song, record of the year. We are talking about that big return of Beyonce, where she came back with a new sound, the album Renaissance. You know the song Break My Soul. You're seeing it now, but let's show you a little bit of her competition, Adele. Now, interesting thing, go back to 2017, where Adele and Beyonce were competing in a lot of categories at the Grammys, and it was Adele that went home a winner. And this time around, she has 7 chances to win again in a lot of those categories. And also similar to Beyonce in that we hadn't seen Adele for a while. We had the 25 album, came back with the 30 album. It's a new Adele, more of a mature song, but no one sings about heartbreak like she does. And Easy on Me, of course, going to be a contender. Now let's keep moving and take a look. You got to give some love to the gentlemen, including Harry Styles, certainly one of the most talked about pop stars in the world right now. Some calling him a modern-day Elton John. Harry's house getting 6 nominations, actor, musician, and more. Let's keep going and take a look at Lizzo, also with 6 nominations. Some big songs like About Damn Time, Song of the Summer. The album is special. She plays the flute and does everything else. And I gotta squeeze in Kendrick Lamar, because he was right behind Beyonce with 8 nominations. So if we can move on to him, there you go. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, songs like N95. And so again, another artist taking a bit of a break, but came back at a time when I think the rap world needed to hear him, and he came back with a lot to say.
So those are the artists making the bigger splash in the nominations, Eli. Have there been any surprises this year?
So one of the surprises might just be who's not on that list. And there are artists that have just said, I am not going to play. I'm not going to actually submit my music to the Grammys because they have issues with the organization. We're talking about The Weeknd. We're talking about Drake. We're talking about even Silk Sonic. So this year, Silk Sonic put out a note, and they have a very successful album saying, you know, we gracefully bow out. Drake has certainly had issues with the Grammy organizations, and they made a lot of changes to try and address that. You see Silk Sonic right now, and The Weeknd. We know Abel is no fan of the Grammys. Another artist having a great year is Bad Bunny. If we can move on to that, Latino music has exploded in popularity, and you can see that in the number of nominations that Bad Bunny, another, virtuoso. He's an actor, he's a musician, but he's all over the charts this year. And then a bit of a throwback, ABBA. ABBA are back with their first album in decades. They sound exactly the way you want them to, Voyage, and it is nominated in a number of categories, including, I believe, the big one, Album of the Year. So there you go. ABBA will always with us, Andrew.
All right. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So with The Weeknd and Drake out because they've removed themselves, who are the Canadians in the running?
There's a lot of Canadians. I don't have time to cover everybody, but let's start with Michael Bublé. He had a new album, Higher, and so he gets a nomination for Best Pop Vocal. He's always pushing his music forward. I see him on TikToks daily. Arcade Fire, nominated for Best Alternative Music Album. Now, they are on tour, but under a bit of a cloud because Win Butler, their lead singer, has been accused of sexual misconduct, and yet the tour continues, and now they're Grammy nominated once again. Kaytranada, an amazing music producer from Montreal, enjoying nominations once again in the dance electro category. And I want to point out, and I'll leave you with Tobias Gesso Jr. Now, this is a songwriter from BC, and I'm talking about that because not only has Tobias worked with Daniel Caesar, he's written for Adele, he's written for Harry Styles, but this year there is a songwriter category. And the remarkable thing, Andrew, is it's the first time we've ever had an award for songwriter. Usually that would become part of Song of the Year, but finally songwriters have gotten their due. And you look at someone like Tobias, his name is attached to so many popular songs, but we don't know the writers behind the songs. And with that nomination, this could change.
All right, important for that recognition. Eli, thank you. The CBC's Eli Glasner with a look at this year's Grammy nominees.